Hello and welcome everyone into another video. In today's video, we're going through some myth or some beliefs that people have been developing in the community about the Pokemon Go Battle League matchmaking system. What do you expect in this video? Well, we're going to analyze the matchmaking system and win rate dynamics. How does it work and what people believe that how it works, and we will try to debunk that based off based on the resources that we do have. So in this video, what do you expect? Overview of the common beliefs about Pokemon Go PvP matchmaking system, and brief summary of what you expect also. So the algorithm, all the algorithms that exist, and why do people believe in such a thing, whether it exists or it doesn't exist. The first thing we will talk about is the myth, which is basically the matchmaking system intentionally hard counter you in the Go Battle League whenever you try to get to play your battles. So what's the description of the myth? Basically, Pokemon Go algorithm intentionally matches players against opponents with teams that hard counter theirs. Whether this is correct or no, this is a common claim, and basically it's a misconception that some people developed in the community. The first thing we'll go through is the complexity of coding such a thing that's called the algorithm. Creating an algorithm to specifically counter team compositions is exceedingly complex. Why? Because we do have around 16 typing in the game, and each typing you have to account, you have a team of 3. So if you want to do probabilities, you have, let's say, 1 typing against 16, so you have to account for those 3 typing that counter you, and then remember that you have 3 different Pokemon. So it's going to be 1 over 8 multiplied 1 over 8 multiplied 1 over 8. It's just going to take very long processing, and we all know that Niantic server are just bad servers. So we all know that their server is not capable of doing such a thing, because it requires also real-time analysis of team composition. It's not just that, real-time analysis of team composition and continuous update based off the meta shift. This is a different and huge concept I want to go through. As an example, okay, let's say in season 2, because such an algorithm, with the way people believe that this concept exists, it also matches you that stuff that are supposed to hard counter you, and such a thing doesn't exist because it doesn't the building the algorithm the way people believed. It's not just as simple as that. Also, you have to add up analysis of team compositions and continuous update based off meta shift. I'm gonna give you an example. As an example, Feraligatr in season 2 lose to grass. Now, if you use a Shadow Feraligatr with Shadow Claw, you beat the grass. So the Pokemon company, aka Niantic, has to account for meta shift. So as an example, they need to keep updating their spreadsheet. Okay, as an example, Azu used to beat Skarmory. Now with the move update, Skarmory now runs Seal Wing, so Skarmory now destroys Azu. Back in the days when sneaking and denying was a thing, Charm A9 can beat Skarmory if you sneak and deny, but now Alolan Ninetales get destroyed by Skarmory. So these are stuff. It requires also real-time analysis of team composition, which is, we all know that Niantic doesn't have the time or the resources to do this, because they simply don't care about PvP to do it. That's another example. High computational resources and development effort with minimal practical benefit. This is the highlight of the point. Minimal practical benefits. Niantic doesn't get any benefits from PvP. We all know that if it's up to Niantic, they would never give us PvP. And they said that every time people interview them and they ask why PvP is bugged, they say because people the percentage of the total players over the percentage of the people who PvP is very minimal, is a huge gap. As an example, I think the Michael at Niantic once said it's less than 4% of the total players actually PvP. So why would they put all these resources to make such a thing for 4% of the total players when they can focus on something different, such as the other 96%? So that's why we see always Niantic trying to hype up new content for people who care about getting a new shiny, getting a shiny with a legacy move, getting something with a legacy move, getting a new Pokemon, releasing a new Pokemon based off ticketed events where okay, you have to spend $20, and all these Pokemon usually suck in PvP, so they don't have the effort, or they don't even have the intention of doing such a thing, because it gives them minimal practical benefits. There is literally no benefits for them to do that. Yes, I know some people would say that PvPers spend lots of money. Trust me, they don't. As simple as that. Comparing to other raiders, they don't. Now we're moving to how matchmaking system actually work. So matchmaking system, there is two popular algorithms that most of the games usually just copy paste. Like they take the algorithm and they put it. An algorithm means equation, like a match, an equation. Like you have an input, you have a you have an equation, you have an output. So how does matchmaking system works? Okay, you have your MMR, which is the elo, or whatever you call it. You call it the ranking. You're ranking. I don't mean ace, expert, or what. No, I just mean the number. That number, and you click start a match, and the matchmaking system will try to find a player that is within 25 plus or minus range of that MMR. The longer you stay in the queue, that range increases. So if you stay in queue for, like, let's say, I remember there was someone around 3,500 MMR queued into someone that is 1,600 MMR or 300 MMR, because they sit in queue for literally 45 minutes, and the longer you stay in, the wider this 25 range increases. The range expands the longer you wait in the queue to ensure timely matchmaking, to ensure accurate timely matchmaking. So basically, if you are at high MMR, this is very common, like for people who are playing for leaderboard content, they don't stay in queue for longer than 1 minute, because they know the longer they stay, they will get a lower MMR opponent, which means they will gain less MMR. So as an example, if you queue into someone around your elo, if you win, you get 15 MMR. If you lose 15 MMR per one game. But if you queue into someone who's higher MMR than you, you're going to gain more than 15 if you lose, and you're gonna lose less than 15, because it's technically not fair. If you, as an example, you are at 3,000, you queued into someone at 3,500. If you win that game, you're gonna get around 40 MMR, but if you lose that game, you're literally not gonna lose MMR, because it's not fair. You're playing someone who is much talented than you. I'm not trying to offend you, I'm just trying to explain a point. So if we go into the logical, the flowchart of matchmaking system, you press start the battle. You have elo. The matchmaking system will search an opponent within 25 MMR. If the battle is found, well, best of luck. Good luck with that battle. You're just gonna play until it ends. Battle not found, search for an opponent after, like, let's say 30 seconds within 50 plus or minus MMR. Battle found. Okay, you're gonna match. So here the opponent's elo x plus 4. Here it's going to be minus 38. So as an example, it depends. The wider the range, the more you gain if you win. The less you gain, the less you will lose if you lose. If you stay longer in the queue, again, the matchmaking system will try to find someone within 100 plus or minus MMR. So that's how the matchmaking system works. But that's not what some people believe. I think people believe, so we're going to talk about the good algorithm, because I think now people developed multiple concepts. One of them called the good algorithm, aka the easy mode, and the bad algorithm, which is hard mode. So you click start the battle. The algorithm lifetime win rate, which is the number of battles you played, again, versus which is the number you get by dividing the number of battles you played against the total number of the number of wins you have versus the total number of battles in that specific season. Okay, so current win rate, team, the game will check the team, the order, the move set. Easy mode, if you are a whale. I think this is the main concept about this theory, is that you have to be a good, like a spender in the game. If you spend money, you get an easy mode account. So check lifetime current win rate, less than 50%. Well, if your win percent is less than 50, the match outcome is supposed to be win. Player team will deal super effective damage. So your lead will be something that will deal super effective damage to the opponent, and their charge move will be resisted by your lead. This is the good algorithm that people believe, okay, not people, some people believe that exists in the game. Search for matching team parameters. What are the parameters? You have 3 Pokemons. Each Pokemon has 3 charge moves, 1 fast move, and 2 charge moves. So that's 9 parameters plus 3. That's it, 12 parameters. That's a huge decode, okay? And just to get like that by, okay, find a match. Okay, get me the match. I am sure, like, it's not gonna happen just by doing that. But I'm just going to explain how do people believe it. And if that's what you believe, this is how it should be coded if you believe that such a thing exists. Player unavailable, then, okay. This is something also that was said that, okay, if the algorithm wasn't able to find you a game, they will generate a bot with a random username and a random team, and or you will get matched against the player that you're supposed to hard counter. Check the match progress. If you win, act no further. If you lose, reduce bot difficulty. Disrupt opponent connection. Because trust me, I watched a YouTuber and he was saying that whenever he wins the lead, the game will try to ruin his connection. I am sure you all know who I'm talking about. Like, that was literally a theory, okay? All of these excuses to just not say that they lost the match because they played poorly, okay? So this is how they believe. So now, what if you are on easy mode account? It's even more complicated. Okay, we have the total win rate plus your team, 3 Pokemons with 9 movesets. Check lifetime current win rate if it's more than 50%. Easy mode toggled on based on the amount you've paid to Niantic. Flag account amount paid is more than X, which is the factor they use. Okay, if you spend more than this, you will get an easy mode account. Match outcome, if it's win, we need the player to win. Okay, player team will deal super effective damage and resist the opposing damage from the opposing team. Search matching team parameters. Okay, find the team that lose to this team with this moveset. Player available, or if it's not available, generate a bot with a random username and a random team that lose to this team, by the way. Match in progress. If win, act no further because, you know, you paid for that. But if you lose, the algorithm will try to reduce the difficulty of that game. But what if you are on the bad algorithm side? Win rate, team of 3 Pokemons, 9 moveset, easy mode. Oh, sorry, I think this is the bad algorithm. Check lifetime and current win rate. Oh, I think we talked about this. This one, sorry. The hard mode account. What is hard mode account? If the algorithm hates you, you don't spend money. This is what happened whenever you try to find a match. Start the battle. Lifetime win rate, current win rate, team of 3 Pokemons, 9 moveset. Check lifetime and current win rate. Lifetime win rate and current win rate. Lifetime win rate is the total battles, which is the first thing you see when you go to the Go Battle League. Current win rate is that win rate in the season. Less than 50%, check easy mode, flag. Okay, amount paid. You check whether it's an easy mode account or no. Amount flagged. Flag inactive. This trainer paid less than what Niantic wants. Okay, this trainer paid less than the amount you're supposed to pay to get easy mode. So you are on hard mode account. So what's going to happen? The match account is supposed to be a loss. Player will deal not effective damage and vulnerable to opposing damage. So your damage will be resisted by the opposing lead, and their damage will be super effective. Search matching team parameters. Find a player, check progress. Losing, act no further because they are supposed to lose because they are on hard mode. When increase bot difficulty, give them a harder account. I believe I'm okay. Yeah, if you win, you're gonna get a harder difficulty. If you can't find a player, again, generate a bot with a specific team that's supposed to hard counter. And like, I've been trying to explain this for 15 minutes, okay? And coding this takes, like, here we need like an entire code like an entire function. Here we need an entire function. Here we need a massive function. It's not a function, I think they call it a class. Then we need a function here, and then the outcome here, like, this is a huge road on coding. So do I believe that such a thing exists? I don't know. Do you think Niantic has the time to code something like this to just make people more upset to do something they don't even care about, which is PvP? Yeah, moving on. So this is what people believe in. Okay, not people, not everyone. It's, I think, the majority, like I wouldn't even say the majority, like there is a huge number of viewers on YouTube specifically that do believe in this, and on Twitch it's not that much because most of the high MMR players stream their battles, and sometimes they showcase their battles whenever they play against something that they get hard counted by, and they always have a way to play it, and they explain their battles well to show that no, there was a chance into winning any of these games that they did lose. So such a concept will always be more popular within the lower MMR battlets, because we will mention that later in the video. So insight from the developers. The battle, okay, Niantic once posted, and they literally made an entire blog about the algorithm. They said, the battling community has done an amazing job analyzing and utilizing the best Pokemon Go to maximize their victories. There is no algorithm that matches trainer based off selected Pokemon, but we love watching the community build their own strategies featuring new and inventive team structure. However, the rare tiers of trainer skill level that are matched. And this is basically explained. Niantic said there is no such a thing that matches you based off your team comp. It's literally your MMR and your past win rate. They didn't explain it well. What does the past win rate mean? The past win rate works with the matchmaking system before you reveal your elo. After you get your elo past rank 20, it's just your elo. Before that, it's your elo in the season before. Because let's say let's say I finished the season at 3500 and I went to play the new season, and I'm not going to queue into someone in the previous seasons that used to be at 300 MMR. So that's how a fair matchmaking system work. And I was like with these slides, I was working with someone who is an IT and code stuff for games, and someone mentioned this: the best algorithm in GBL is the players themselves. Okay, no one can beat the teams that player make better than other players. So if you lose to someone, that's because one, they either played better, two, they have a better team they are using. There is no need for Niantic to do anything extra. Like, this is literally the thing. Niantic doesn't need to do that, okay? When I play and I keep losing to one specific team, or I keep losing to more teams than I win, I'm going to try to build a new team that do well against 1, 2, 3 teams, okay? That's why people watch trainers who make good teams, sometimes regardless of their skill. Okay, so again, I'm gonna read it. The best algorithm in GBL is the players themselves, which makes sense. No one can beat the teams that players make better than other players. And remember, like, I'm gonna give example. As an example, back in the days when FP Sticks and Walwar used to stream, people would literally watch them just regardless of their skills, just for the unique teams they used to build to counter, as an example, Bastiodon teams. There is no need for Niantic to do anything extra. This here should be the highlight of the entire video. Moving into the next thing, which is more in depth into the algo. So Yasser, you're trying to say that it's hard to code such a thing as in the algorithm, but other games do have an algorithm. And I'm gonna tell you, like, there are 2 games that they have something called extra, not just your MMR and your win rate. But if they have such a thing, they would always tell you, because if they don't tell you, it affects their integrity, and affecting the game's integrity always affect their reputation, and it will cause them a massive loss in their revenue and then a massive loss in their players. As an example, in Raid Shadow Legend, up to a specific MMR, if you lose 3 games in a row, you're gonna queue into a bot, and they said that from day one. They didn't even hide it. They say, let's say in Pokemon GO, okay, I don't want to give an example in Pokemon GO because people will might just, well, like, okay, he said in Pokemon GO, that means it exists in Pokemon GO. Let's say up to 2000 MMR, if you lose 3 games in a row, you're gonna queue into a bot. Above that, no more bots. And then people started saying, no, there are bots above that MMR, and then the game again confirmed that, okay, after a certain MMR, it doesn't matter how many games you lose, you're not gonna queue into a bot. Below that specific MMR, if you lose 3 games in a row, you're gonna get a bot. If you lose 2, then you win 1, then you're not gonna get a bot. It has to be 3 games in a row. In Overwatch, they built something to avoid to avoid the toxicity that came up from people who are raging due to like massive losses in their a massive loss streak. So what they implemented, basically, they said if there is a player who's been on a losing streak, they would get they would be in a team that has players with more win rate, more win streak, just to balance it out, because it's not fair for a team to get only players that are on a lose streak. That's for them, okay? And yeah, they said it exists because they said it, okay? They literally said this, and they made an entire blog that, okay, when a player is currently on a loser streak, the matchmaker will try to avoid putting the player on a team that is statistically calculated to have a lower chance of winning. So because let's say someone on a loser streak, it's not fair, okay, for them to be on a team that's also on a loser streak. So let's say someone with 5 losing streak will be in the same team with someone with 5 win streak, just to balance it and make it fair for the 3 other players. But Pokemon Go PvP is 1v1, so no need to make such a thing. Now, moving into the next point, which is understanding win rate dynamic, because I see lots of people's like, the algorithm will always try to put you at a 50% win rate. And I am someone who played CSGO, I played Dota 2, I played a bunch of online games. And yes, it's kinda true. All of the games in my win rate has always been between 52 to 54 MMR. But that's not something about the algorithm, that's literally something about me. So what happens basically, let's say I'm playing, okay? I'm gonna calibrate my MMR based off my win rate up to, I will get a certain point. And then based off my playing, I'm gonna keep climbing until I am at the skill of the same players that are around my elo. After that, my win rate will be 50%, like literally. So until that point, my win rate will be, let's say, 60%. But once I get to the MMR where everyone at that MMR has same skills as I do, I will have 50% win rate. Before that, it's going to be higher. At the end, it will balance around 52 to, let's say, 48 to 52, depending on the skills, depending on how much I improve. And the more I improve, the higher the gap will be, the more I can climb. But we can see like there are some players that have like a high win rate, and a player here, like I'm gonna give an example. This is a win rate from a player. His name is Shady Agent or Shady Equation. Shady Equation is known for camping. Like, what does Shady Agent do? Shady Equation, sorry. Shady Agent will always climb to page 1 leaderboard. After that, he would stop playing for literally 2 weeks. By the time he stopped playing, like those 2 weeks, the players around his skill will be 300 MMR above him, and the people around his MMR will be 300 MMR less skills than him. So he would play again, climb back to page 1 leaderboard, and then camp again. So he has 60% plus. I think this is around 64% win rate, because he does that because he doesn't, like, he only plays open Great League. So if a Great League is not around, he doesn't play. Just as simple as that. Not because he's camping, it's just because he doesn't have Master League and Ultra League stuff most of the time. By most of the time, I mean all the time. And yeah, most games has an average of win rate of 48 to 52 for balanced players, which mean the players that play all of their games. Okay, we don't talk about the people who camp. We don't talk about the people who play 1 day, quit 7 days. Players' win rate converge to around roughly 50% as they reach skill level. So pretty much, once you reach your level, you're playing around with you're playing at the same level as other players with the same skill as you, your win rate is going to be 50%. That's what logic says. I looked it up in other games such as in Dota 2, and there is a Dota 2 player, his name is Abed. He has 62% win rate. And what Abed used to do, he would play on his alt account all the time until he masters the current meta. Once he masters the current meta of Dota 2, he would just go and play on his main account, and he will have more than 50% win rate. That's an example. So unique or invention team composition leads to temporarily spike in win rate, and this is what I'm talking about. Okay, so let's see someone figured out, someone like going with a 50% win rate, then they found out about a team that people haven't thought about. Okay, I'm talking about, let's say, when Bastidon Medi-Sableye team came out. I think it was made by Speediest Chief and was popularized by Zionic. people were spamming that team, and they were like 300 to 400 MMR where they deserve, above where they deserve to be. Why? Because people were just massively weak to this team, so they were above their what's supposed to be. And some people hit legend by just spamming Basti, Medi, Lecky, or Basti, Sableye, Medi. Those are like back when people didn't even have XLs. So what's the reason? Why do people believe in the algorithm? The main psychology, the main psychological reason is called the psychology behind the myth of why do people believe in the algorithm. Why do people believe that there is something called the algorithm behind their losses? It's basically like excuses as a self-handicapping mechanism. It protects against anxiety and shame by shifting blame to external factors. So whenever you lose, do you want to blame the algorithm, or do you want to blame yourself and have like the shame that comes with it by losing? Or you can just shift the blame into something that doesn't exist called the algorithm, and you're just gonna blame like a external factor called the algorithm, and you'll be like, okay, I think I'm losing because there is an algorithm that's trying to put me against teams that I can't beat. And basically it prevents genuine self-improvement, and that's why like I refuse to believe, and I always fight against those people who believe. I'm like, stop blaming the algorithm. You're literally preventing yourself from improving at the game. Instead of blaming it, focus on improvement. And usually improvement comes with like with a price. As an example, to improve at the GBL, you have to pay for a coach to help you, and usually coaching required, you don't just get better from 1 to 2 sessions, which is cost around $100. You usually need like at least 10, which is cost of $500. So would you spend $500, or are you just gonna believe in the algorithm? That's basically it. So again, it prevents genuine self-improvement. Believing in the algorithm prevents genuine self-improvement and critical evaluation of strategies. So where does that come from? The main reason we call it confirmation bias. Okay, so what's confirmation bias? It's the tendency to search for or interpret and remember information that confirms one's perception while ignoring contradictory evidence. So you would rather believe in something that will make you feel better over something that's actually better. Application in Pokemon Go. Player may notice and remember matches where they were hard countered, but ignore matches where they had the advantage. So let's say you get hard countered in 3 games and you won the lead in 2 games. You're gonna remember the 3 games where you got hard countered. Unsuccessful matches reinforce the belief in rigged matchmaking, while fair matches are often overlooked. So basically overlooking matches that were fair, and you're gonna remember and believe that the matchmaking system is rigged every time you lose the lead. And this basically explain confirmation bias. So these are our beliefs, these are the facts, and once you find something common between them, as an example, let's say fact says you're gonna lose lead 50% of the time. If you are using something that's very common, something that's very strong, such as Azu, you're gonna lose lead 50% of the time, you're gonna win lead 50% of the time. So you're gonna take the facts, you're gonna lose lead 50% of the time, combine it with your own beliefs that there is something that's called matchmaking system, and based off how much they like you and how much you spend in the game, that will happen. So you'll be like, okay, I did not spend that much money in the game this month. Okay, I get hard counted 3 times. That means I am on hard mode account. Oh, okay. Examples. Player encounter a team that counters their lead twice in a row and conclude that the system is rigged. Okay, but forget that the 3 matches where they had the favorable matchup. So 5 matches, you get hard countered in 2, you won the lead in 3. You're gonna believe that you get hard countered and most of your matchups. That's how confirmation bias works. Confirmation bias leads to selective memory and attention, reinforcing the myth. So you're gonna believe what you want to believe at the end. Players become more frustrated and mistrustful of the matchmaking system. So the more it happens, the more it will affect your trust within the system. Further perpetuating the myth. So this graph will basically explains what's happening. Okay, the times you lost the lead. Okay, here the times you lost the lead. The more you lose the lead, let's say you lost the lead twice every set, you played 5 sets, that means you lost the lead 10 times. So the more you lose the lead, the more that you will believe that this lie exists or this myth exists. So that's why people tend to believe that there is such a thing. Now, the impact of rigged matchmaking system on gaming reputation. Why games wouldn't have a rigged matchmaking system? Okay, now we're talking about the players, let's talk about the companies. Why wouldn't they make such a thing? Even if they make such a thing, they would tell you. So if they don't tell you, they don't have it. Basically, it reduces like players' trust. Like, trust is a huge word between the players and the company. Like, as an example, people trust that there is an RNG thing which affect the shiny DPU. Like, as an example, shiny Pikachu is 1 in 5 to 20 or 5 to 12. So they do believe that once in a 5-12 checks, they will get a shiny. That's something everyone believes. But sometimes, if it's rigged, if they see someone getting 3 shinies in a row, they will question the system. And here, like most people, still believe that, okay, no, it's RNG. Because people know it's RNG. And it, like, losing the trust between the company and the player is always a massive issue. Now, remember that Niantic says 1, 2, 3, okay? Player do not question that. So, as an example, yeah, so you're trusting Niantic, but they never fix the game. Well, the thing is, I don't trust Niantic that they will fix it because they never said it's going to be fixed. They said they are working on it. Are they working? Yes, they are working. Are they putting hard work on it? That's a different case, okay? Because I met the devs twice, I think 3 times, and we talked about such a thing, and they always seems to be like overwhelmed. Like, they always seem to have a lot of work to do because the Niantic doesn't have that much people working for them, and they have a big game to handle. So again, because PvP is not their main thing. PvP is 1% of Pokemon Go. A rigged matchmaking system undermines players' trust and the game fairness. So usually, like, whatever people believe about the algorithm, it's commonly like a belief, but there is no evidence so far. And the only player who once said, okay, here is the proof, they used the Pokemon that has 6 weaknesses. 4 of them are hard meta. So in 60 or 80% of the time they were playing, they are 80% of the time should lose the lead based off stats, okay? They use something like called Alolan Executor, which lose to Poison, lose to Ice, lose to Fairy, lose to Dragons, lose to Fighters that they have Ice Punch. So 99% of the time they will lose because they are having horrible Pokemon. So they are using bad data, bad sample data to prove something that they do believe in. Players expect transparent and fairness competition. A manipulated system contradict this. Exactly. So a manipulated system contradict what people want to see in a video game. Reduce player engagement. So if such a thing exists, it will eventually lead to reduce the player's engagement. Perceived unfairness lead to frustration and dissatisfaction, which is the opposite of the belief. Like because losing lead, thinking that they are getting hard counted by the algorithm, will eventually make them quit. And we didn't see people quitting PvP that much. Yes, people quit. People take a break. I always recommend, if you're frustrated with the game, take a break. It's healthier for you. Players are more likely to quit or reduce their playtime if they feel the game is stacked against them, which is a fact. I see people quitting the game and then getting back to the game, player taking a break, but they eventually get back because they low-key back in their beliefs. They know that the algorithm doesn't exist. It's just an excuse they always use. Negative word of mouth. Okay. Disgruntled players spread negative feedback online and in communities. Can deter potential new player and harm the game growth. And such a thing again will hurt the game growth, and new players will just be frustrated with it more than the current players, because the current players have more reasons to play, because it's kind of like the grinding and the time they spend and the money they invested are like sometimes a reason to keep them playing. Well, like new players won't just do it because it takes them like 5 seconds to Google the game reputation. Reputation damage the developers. People just don't trust the developers. Well, this is technically something we never had. We never talked to the devs on a formal way. Niantic never did something like called meet the devs like other games. So I think this is kind of like doesn't apply to Pokemon Go. Developers are seen as deceitful or manipulative. I mean, this doesn't apply. Other games, they will have something like called meet the devs, and the devs will explain how the game works behind the scene. Now, moving into the next game, Niantic Standards Matchmaking System content. Niantic use a common matchmaking system similar to other games. System focus on matching by elo, not team composition. Again, it's by elo, not team composition. Simplicity and efficiency in maintaining fair matches. Okay, matchmaking system that's similar to everyone else, just to make sure it's fair. Conclusion. This is technically the end. Oh my, that's like been 35 minutes. So this slides took me more than a week to do. So please, if you appreciate the content, make sure to leave a like. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, because this took me weeks. Okay, this took me weeks to do. Matchmaking complexity. Creating an algorithm to intentionally hard counter players is too complex and not used by Niantic. Elo-based system. The system matches player based on Elo, rating, and prior performance. This is prior performance only happen before you get your Elo, because it's not fair for someone who ended up the last season at 3,500 to queue into someone who ended that season at 1,500 as an example, to ensure fair competition. Universal win rate. Players typically have win rate around 50% as they approach their skill level. So you might have more than 50%, but once you are at the level where everyone around you at the same skill level, you're going to have 50% win rate due to unique, with variation. The variations are basically new strategies that they learned or new teams that they are using. Confirmation bias. Perception of intentional countering are influenced by confirmation bias, leading players to misinterpret random unfavorable matches. So it's usually confirmation bias because you see bad things that happen to you, but you don't see the good things that happens to you. This is a human nature. As an example, you don't see the Scald debuff when you get the Scald debuff, but you always remember when the opponent get the Scald debuff. Game integrity. A rigged matchmaking system would damage the game's reputation and undermine players' trust, which Niantic aims to avoid. And yeah, here are some resources. I will put them in the description below if anyone is interested to watch. So yeah. So before we move on into the ending the stream, after all of this, what do you think? You still believe that there is a thing called the algorithm that match you against teams that they are supposed to lose or to win against you? Is there anything that you didn't understand so I could keep it in mind and maybe explain it more in future content? And yeah, please leave a comment of what do you think now? What was basically your thoughts at the beginning of the video and what was your thoughts at the end of the video? That's what I want to know. I'm interested to know. So please, I spent weeks to make this video, and just anything you have in your mind before watching and after watching. Did I change anything you believe in? And yeah, I think I lost my voice. So yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. This is the end of the video. Oh my, okay, I can finally take a break. I will be at GoFest, so don't expect that many videos coming in the future until after I come back from GoFest. So thank you so much everyone for watching. This is the end of the video. If you like this video, please leave a like. If you are new to the channel, make sure to subscribe, and see you in the next one. Peace.